Dear seeker, have you ever noticed that the deepest moments of your life did not arrive with effort, but with surrender? They came quietly, unannounced, often when the mind stopped asking and the heart stopped demanding. We hear the word samadhi spoken with great reverence, as though it were a distant submitment only for monks and mystics, yet Sri Ramakrishna lived it as something far more intimate, as natural as breathing, as unavoidable as love. He did not climb toward samadhi. It overtook him, again and again, like the tide overtakes the shore. And this is important, dear seeker, because what overtakes you cannot be possessed. Most people imagine samadhi as an escape from the world, a shutting of the senses, a disappearance into silence, a final withdrawal from life. But Ramakrishna's life gently contradicts this idea. He entered depths where even the sense of I vanished, yet he returned laughing, weeping, teaching, blessing. He showed that silence does not oppose life, it nourishes it. His samadhi was not a rejection of the world, but an intimacy with reality so complete that nothing stood outside it. As we walk through his life today, do not listen as a collector of spiritual ideas. Listen as one who remembers. The states of samadhi we will speak of are not philosophical stages, they are lived conditions of the heart, the mind, and the very sense of being. You may recognize them in moments you once dismissed, a tear that came without sorrow, a stillness that needed no reason, a love that erased the one who loved. Ramakrishna's journey is not meant to place him above you. It is meant to reveal what is already possible within you. So sit gently, dear seeker, and allow this story not to inform you, but to soften you. Dear seeker, what if the first doorway to truth is not silence, but love? Before the mind dissolves and before the sense of self fades, the heart often awakens first. Sri Ramakrishna did not begin his journey by negating the world or dismissing emotion. He began by loving the divine with such intensity that the boundaries of his own identity grew thin. Standing before Mother Kali, singing to her, crying for her, calling to her as a child calls to its mother, his whole being leaned toward one presence. In those moments, his body would sway, tears would pour, and the ordinary sense of time would loosen its grip. Yet he was not absent. He could still speak, still sing, still respond. This condition is known as Bhava Samadhi, but dear seeker, do not hold on to the name, understand the feeling. Bhava Samadhi is the state where devotion becomes so complete that the heart forgets itself. There is still a sense of I, but it is softened, humbled, and absorbed in love. It is like salt dissolving in water, not yet gone, but no longer separate. Ramakrishna's ecstasy was not dramatic for its own sake, it was the natural overflow of a heart that could no longer contain its longing. He did not seek visions or trances. He simply loved until love became larger than thought. You may have touched this state without knowing it. In prayer that left you wordless. In tears that carried no personal story. In moments when gratitude or beauty made the world feel strangely intimate. Bhava Samadhi teaches us something essential, dear seeker. The path does not always begin by transcending emotion. Sometimes, it begins by allowing love to ripen until the self quietly steps aside. Dear seeker, what happens when love grows quiet and devotion matures into steadiness? There comes a moment when the heart no longer surges and the tears no longer flow, yet something far deeper remains, an unwavering attention resting on truth itself. In Sri Ramakrishna's life, this shift marked the entrance into a subtler depth, where the mind ceased its restless movement and settled into a single, luminous focus. He would sit with eyes open, aware of the world, yet inwardly anchored in one unbroken remembrance of the divine. This was not ecstasy in motion, but stillness with awareness. This state is known as Savikalpa Samadhi, though the name matters far less than the lived reality. In Savikalpa Samadhi, the sense of I has not vanished, but it has lost its authority. Thought no longer pulls in many directions, it gathers itself around one truth, one presence, one reality. Ramakrishna could speak, answer questions, or guide seekers, yet his attention did not drift outward. It was as though the world appeared within him, not outside him. Imagine a lamp placed in a windless room. The flame remains bright and steady, untouched by disturbance. This was the quality of his consciousness in this state. Dear seeker, this stage teaches something very gentle and very important. Silence does not always mean absence. Awareness does not require withdrawal. You do not need to disappear in order to be free. There may come moments in your own life when the mind rests naturally, when effort falls away and clarity remains without strain. Do not rush past these moments or try to depend them. Simply remain honest and still. Savikalpa Samadhi reveals that stability itself is a form of grace, and that truth can be present even while the world continues to move. Dear seeker, now we step into a territory where language itself begins to fail. There came a time in Sri Ramakrishna's life when even devotion became a veil, when even the sweetness of Mother Kali was seen as a form that consciousness could still cling to. Under the guidance of his teacher Totapuri, he was urged to move beyond all images, all feelings, all names, beyond even the subtlest sense of, I am meditating. What followed was not an experience he could describe, because there was no one left to experience it. The mind did not rest, it dissolved. The witness did not observe, it vanished. This was Nirvikalpa Samadhi. In this state, dear seeker, there is no thought to return to, no self to report back, no world to confirm existence. Time does not pass, because there is nothing separate to mark its passing. Ramakrishna would remain motionless for days, sometimes longer, sustained by forces unseen, while awareness abided in itself without division. This was not a trance or a vision. It was being without reference, truth without form, existence without an edge. The body lived, but the person was absent. Many seekers secretly long for this state, imagining it as the final annihilation of suffering. Yet Ramakrishna did not pursue Nirvikalpa Samadhi as an achievement. It overtook him when resistance ended completely. And just as importantly, he did not romanticize it. For the human system, this state is absolute truth, but it is not meant to be inhabited continuously. Dear seeker, understand this gently. Nirvikalpa Samadhi is not something you enter. It is what remains when the idea of you cannot arise. To touch it is grace, to survive it is rare, to return from it transformed is extraordinary. Dear seeker, here we arrive at a mystery that is rarely spoken of, because it cannot be understood by effort or ambition. After tasting Nirvikalpa Samadhi, Sri Ramakrishna did not remain absorbed in it permanently. This was not because realization was incomplete, nor because truth slipped away. It was because the body, the world, and the work of love could not function in that total absence of self. In Nirvikalpa Samadhi, there is no Ramakrishna left to eat, to speak, or to guide others. And yet, something within existence itself called him back. When Ramakrishna returned from that absolute depth, he did not return as a person reclaiming an identity. He returned as emptiness wearing a form. The ego did not reassemble. Desire did not return. Fear had no foothold. What remained was a transparent instrument through which compassion moved freely. This is why those around him felt not authority, but warmth, not superiority, but intimacy. He came back not to claim the world, but to serve it without ownership. Dear seeker, this is where many misunderstand liberation. They imagine the highest truth as permanent withdrawal, a final escape into silence. But Ramakrishna's life reveals something subtler and far more demanding. Realization matures into responsibility. Silence, when complete, flows back into sound. Emptiness expresses itself as love. He did not choose to teach, teaching happened through him. He did not plan to guide seekers, seekers were drawn to the peace that moved with him. Understand this quietly, the greatest beings do not abandon the world. They move within it lightly, untouched yet fully available. Ramakrishna did not remain in Nirvikalpa Samadhi because truth itself does not cling to stillness. It moves where it is needed. And dear seeker, when realization ripens, It does not end life, it becomes life's gentlest offering. Dear seeker, once realization has loosened its grip on identity, something extraordinary becomes possible: freedom of movement. Sri Ramakrishna did not live confined to a single spiritual condition, nor did he cling to the depths that had erased him. He moved between states of consciousness as naturally as a child moves between play and rest. At one moment he would be singing, laughing, or teasing his devotees in the joy of devotion; in another, he would fall silent, absorbed in unmoving awareness, and at times, without warning, he would pass beyond all states into complete disappearance. There was no effort in these transitions, because there was no one left who needed to manage them. This is the mark of living realization, dear seeker. Bhava Samadhi arose when love overflowed. Savikalpa Samadhi appeared when clarity stabilized. Nirvikalpa Samadhi descended when even the subtlest grasping dissolved. Ramakrishna did not rank these states or treat one as superior to the others. He allowed each to come and go, like seasons passing through the same sky. What mattered was not the state, but the freedom from attachment to any state. Here lies a teaching that is often overlooked. Many seekers become attached to stillness, or intoxicated by bliss, or frightened of emptiness. Ramakrishna was attached to none of these. Because truth had been recognized beyond all conditions, no particular experience was needed to confirm it. This is why he could teach while immersed in silence, and laugh while resting in the infinite. Dear seeker, understand this deeply: liberation is not the ability to remain in samadhi, but the ability to move freely without losing truth. When awareness is no longer confined, life itself becomes the expression of realization. In such freedom, nothing is rejected, nothing is clung to, and everything is allowed to appear and disappear in its own time. Dear seeker, now the teaching turns toward you, not as instruction, but as a quiet invitation. Sri Ramakrishna's life was never meant to become a standard you must reach or a story you admire from a distance. It is a mirror held gently before your own experience. What he lived outwardly, you are meant to discover inwardly, in your own rhythm, in your own way. Do not hurry toward samadhi, and do not measure your growth by extraordinary moments. Truth does not respond to impatience. It reveals itself when sincerity becomes complete. If devotion arises in you, allow it. Love deeply, without embarrassment and without control. If stillness comes, rest there without claiming it as progress. If confusion returns, let it come. Even confusion is part of the path when honesty is present. Ramakrishna did not purify himself through effort, he surrendered himself through trust. And trust, dear seeker, is quieter than discipline and far more powerful. Remember this: no state is permanent, and no experience defines you. Bliss will fade, silence will shift, and even clarity will come and go. Do not cling. What is real in you is not the experience, but the awareness in which all experiences appear. Sit gently with yourself. Let life teach you in its own language. Ramakrishna's journey leaves us with one final reassurance. You are not required to disappear, withdraw, or abandon the world to realize truth. You are asked only to become honest, open, and available. When resistance softens, what you truly are begins to shine through ordinary moments. Walk slowly, dear seeker. Love sincerely. Remain present. The truth you seek is not ahead of you, it is quietly revealing itself where you already stand. Dear seeker, as we come to the end of this reflection, do not rush away with conclusions. Let what you have heard settle, not in the mind, but in the quiet space beneath it. Samadhi, as revealed through Sri Ramakrishna's life, is not a distant goal waiting at the end of struggle. It is the natural fragrance of sincerity, love, and surrender. When effort softens and resistance loosens, truth does not arrive dramatically, it simply remains, as it always has. If something within you feels calmer, more spacious, or gently stirred, honor that feeling by allowing silence to follow these words. Remember, the purpose of such teachings is not inspiration alone, but recognition. You are not being shown what Ramakrishna attained, you are being reminded of what consciousness itself is capable of revealing when it is no longer confined by fear or ambition. Carry this remembrance into ordinary moments, while walking, listening, serving, or resting. Let your life become the meditation, and let sincerity be your only discipline. If this video resonated with you, dear seeker, I invite you to pause and write a comment, not to impress, but to reflect. Share what part of this journey touched you most, or what question quietly arose within you while listening. Your reflection may become a doorway for another seeker who is walking silently beside you. And let me know what you would like to explore next: the nature of silence, the difference between effort and surrender, the life of another realized being, or a deeper inquiry into the self. Your longing will guide the next offering. If you feel called, stay connected, return often, and walk this path gently. Nothing is being demanded of you, only honesty, patience, and openness. The truth does not hurry, and neither should you. Until we meet again in stillness, remain present, remain kind, and remain true to what quietly knows itself within you. Jai Guru Dev.